Hello viewers, something a little bit different for you on Gran Turismo 7 this week, because we jump into Daily Race C and take a look at this circuit. It might not be familiar because Kyoto Yamagiwa plus Miyabi has not been used for 3 years on this game in sport mode. So we're going to jump into a race which featured a lot of contentious moments, but a lot of fun as well. Not that bit, not where I got absolutely demolished, nor this bit where you get spun on this weird curb. But take a look at this, how close the racing was between everyone in the lobby. So let's jump in to the very first one, the Aston Martin Group 4 car. Now actually this is the first time this exact combination has ever been used in Gran Turismo Sport mode. As I say, the last time this track featured was 3 years ago in early May 2022. And back then it was in Group 3 cars. And so this is the first time this combo has been done. And it made for some really interesting battling, as you can probably tell by the opening exchanges here in this first race. Immediately here dropping back down the order 15th. However, heading into this hairpin, of which there are many on this circuit, we can see just how close it is up front with Flash Dagger there in the yellow car, getting spun out on the curb. And that honestly is going to be a theme of this video. Really intense close racing, very contentious moments, a lot of battling and a lot of fun on a track we don't often race. Anyway, moving up the positions here into 12th, then to 11th. Then we had this moment with Sparks Theory having a rendezvous with the wall. This curb, I don't know what's going on there, but it seems to make you want to turn right into a left-hander. I then gain a further position against the Ancient Pleb before it all unravels on lap 3. As we head into the hairpin, big braking zone here. The car behind doesn't seem to think it's a braking zone. Completely forget to press the left pedal. Not quite sure what was up with him, but it's really ruined my race. Down to the back of the pack, trying to recover a few positions here before the end, going from 12th to 10th. But that would be that. A race with potential, but not a good result. Okay, yeah, there was a lot of potential in that race. I really think I could have been top 5 there. And in order to move up the order, we're going to have to set a qualifying lap. This was my best one, albeit this was actually just a quick lap I had after that first race, before the second one. And on a circuit like this, with such long left-handers and then lots of hairpins, it's really about carrying the speed for a lot of the fast corners. Through the uphill section here, should be a simple enough sequence to get dead right. Then this is the second of the left-handers. You have to really throw it in, carry the brake with a bit of a soft brake, I would say, to roll the speed through as much as possible before getting on the power to power out to the outside. Braking halfway between the first and second yellow lines on the left hand side going in. The car will oversteer over the bump on the exit here. Be nice and patient. Mid corner. So lots of long corners characterize this Kyoto Yamagiwa plus Miyabi circuit. It's a long track as well, 2.5 minutes for a lap in Group 4 car. Not many tracks longer than this. As we head through the next of the long lefts, again, patience required through there, but you do have to get on the power early. Braking halfway down that yellow and grey wall on the left-hand side, car will kind of understeer over the bump as we cross over from Miyabi into Yamagiwa. Powering out to the outside, braking just after the 75R sign on the ground, and that's normally a good braking zone. Patience mid-corner, power out to the outside. Then we have the awkward curb down the hill. You have to make sure you don't touch the far right-hand side at the end. Otherwise, that will seem to make your car want to turn right, which is not what you want on a left-hander, as obvious as that may seem to say. Into the final corner again, get the car in, patience mid-corner, long corner that one. And then it's a straight run to the finish, and it's a 2:26.9. Oh, there we go. All right, 26.9. Now that lap was a little bit better than I thought it would be, especially it was just one lap. But it's only good enough for 11th. Kind of shows you the competitiveness in this lobby. Even I think up to 2nd or 3rd was a mid 26, so just a couple of tenths separating most of us here. I tried to squeeze Dane Ramstor on the left hand side. He's in the Jaguar, with the Aston Martin being the clear popular choice for this race. However, as we will go through the video, we'll definitely see some different options which are available. Heading up the hill, I do manage to return to 11th, getting back past Ramstor. Heading up the hill in 11th, behind the big pack, the almighty pack down the hill. Look at this. So many cars to try to fight through, and we're about to do exactly that. Contact in front, and we're kind of bulldoze our way through. I don't even know what was going on there. Another car spinning and going backwards on the apex. And after all of that, up into 8th. 3 positions gained through that sequence of corners. It's about to be another one as we get the run on the car on the left hand side. This car feels pretty good around here. I would say the tyre wear isn't its main strength though. We will also talk about strategy in a moment. Dummying this guy to the left and going to the right into the final corner up to 6th place after lap 1. Moving forward pretty nicely here. That's 11th to 6th, 5 positions in 1 lap. End of lap 2, Flash goes into the pit lane. Definitely a range of strategy options for this race. And actually the no stop, or the no tyre change is actually possible as well, which we will explore in just a moment. Side by side here with Mario Sonic. Looking up the inside, he's in the Silvia, which seems to be an option. I don't know if it's the best option, but it's an option. Anyway, up the inside we go, into 4th. Trying to just tuck in ahead, which I do, but then I don't cover it off, hoping he doesn't go for it, but he does. So into the hairpin here, a little bit wider than you'd like. Bit of adverse camber there, over the bump as well, doesn't really help you on the outside. You do have to try and nail that apex wherever possible. But I'm sure you can see by now the theme of this race, which is that it's extremely close. There's no question about that. And so it's really good at long last for Gran Turismo to have some originality and bring us a circuit we haven't seen in a while, given there are quite a lot of tracks in the game. Into the pit lane we go, refusing to change tyres. We're going to go for the no tyre change strategy. It does save you a bit of time, but maybe it's not as much as I'd like. So as you can see, we've jumped up the order. Everyone else has changed the tyres. We've moved from about 6th to 3rd. But I have the much worse tyres now to contend with from here to the end of the race. And that's going to make things incredibly difficult. But we're going to give it our best shot. And it's always, sometimes it's nice to do the other strategy, the alternative strategy, just to see if it genuinely is viable. We'll see later on that in other cars it probably is, but I think in this one, the Aston Martin, you can probably tell by now the front right tyre screaming in agony, and it doesn't really like the no tyre change. Other cars can manage it a little bit better. And I was just driving a little bit ragged here up the curb on the final corner, perhaps just over pushing against everyone else here who is on the fresh set of tyres. It wasn't to matter anyway, because coming through here into the wall we go, and when you're turning 45 degrees, getting a nice angle on these marshals on the right hand side of the track, you know you've done something horrifically wrong. And so we end up smashing into the wall in a disappointing end to the race, which ultimately we end in 12th position. But is the podium possible? I really sensed that it would be. Those first 2 races, obviously disappointing. They were great until they weren't. But in both occasions, I felt like, you know, had things gone my way, it's easy to say this, you know, if my grandmother was a bike kind of thing. But you just never know with this kind of race. There's a lot of luck involved, and still skill though. I mean, look at this. Look how many people are on that radar. I've put myself on the outside, and this is the kind of thing here. When everyone's so close, it's just not going to work. You just get run wide, and we've dropped a lot of positions here. This is going to be a really good example of a great comeback this race, because down to the hairpin, down to the 14th. I mean, people look at that. Left, right, centre, underneath. You name it, they're overtaking me there. I've dropped positions. And at this point here, we can pause it because right now, I am dead last. 16th out of 16. Horrible start. Absolutely awful. Also, take a look at this car, the BMW just in front. A very viable option, as we will explore in just a moment. Well, we'll explore it right now because you can watch that car fight its way through the order in front of me. We're going to gain a couple of positions back here. So starting 11th or 10th or something, going down to 16th with an absolutely awful start. But now the comeback begins. The fight back is on. Can we get back through the order? It's absolutely possible. Because the race is so close and contentious, there's a lot of fighting, a lot of defending, and a lot of time lost. And therefore, the cars behind always have a chance to catch up. Especially when things like this happen. You know, we've got the Aston off there. We've got the Silvia off as well. And so this is going to be 2 positions gained. And so Operation Fightback is well and truly underway. 12th position at the end of lap 1. I mean, not the greatest. We were up in, 11th now, actually, as another car spins off. So pretty much where we started. I felt like I probably could have gained a lot more. We have Ramster up in probably about 6th, and he started next to me on the grid. And it shows you can gain, but you can also lose a lot. Trying the move there against the car in front doesn't quite work, but it does work here. Hits that curb, clatters into it at the wrong angle, and it really does chew you up and spit you out to the left-hand side. You can either hit the wall or take the hit by getting your foot off of the power. That's what that guy did there. So back into the top 10. But you can see just how close this is. 2.4 seconds away from the lead. And pretty much every car is in immediate sight in front of me. So it's absolutely ridiculous as the Aston goes very wide there on the exit of the hairpin. Coming down into the final sequence of corners here. P1R Jake with a mistake. I decide to go right. It turned out to be the right decision. Moving up into 8th place now, with the BMW in front doing a really good job of pulling his way through the order. Now, as we head down the hill on lap 3 here, I'm in 8th, I'm a second behind the group. And because they're fighting so hard, it only takes a couple of corners here to pretty much get right on the back of them. And this is, I think, the reason why this is such a close race, as has been proven by all the races in this video. Because everyone's so close, and then you have to start fighting, you have to start defending, and it's really hard to pull away as an individual. And so this pretty much promotes close racing. Maybe a little bit artificial, but it has been really fun, so I'm not really caring too much. Into the hairpin, almost into the back of Dane Ramster, just avoid him. We are going to gain 1 position there as Dixon just gets back in front on the left hand side. Now, if we take a look at the bottom left of the screen, we can see my subscriber count. And I just want to say, as it's about to tick over, thank you for 984,000 subscribers. And there it is. If you wouldn't mind helping me to get to 985 and then 1 million, that'd be great if you hit the subscribe button. As we head down the hill into the penultimate corner, someone very wide there, that's ghosted into the wall. And we're up into P6. Let's not forget, I was 16th at one point a lap ago, or 2 laps ago. So we're definitely moving ourselves into the right direction here. The exit of lap 3. I'm going to go into the pit lane 1 lap early. And there is viability to this option of getting yourself out of the traffic and moving into the clear air. Because here we are with a lot of clear air in front. And all the guys there are still very close together. There's a good chance they fight. And at the end of the lap with everyone in the pit lane, we're about to see if that strategy pays dividends. As they all come out of the pit lane in unison, we've got the run on them. I'm going to go around the outside. It's not quite going to work. And to be honest, I've not gained as much as I would have liked. As we try and go around the outside here, not quite going to work. We're going to have to resume in 7th place. And so didn't really gain any time or any positions there. It could work. It could work if you get it right. But on this occasion, didn't quite get it nailed on. So as I sense that the groups in front are just beginning to pull away, I try and work with Dixon here just to try to push ourselves a little bit closer to the 4 cars in the lead of the race. With 2 laps to go, or 3 laps to go actually, we still have chances here. The top 3 begin to pull away. Valkyrie there very wide, and that corner is just causing so many problems. Many problems indeed. The curb seemed really lethal for some weird reason. It didn't really seem to used to be like that in the past. However, for whatever reason, it seems to want to chew people out. Chew people up and spit them out. Anyway, pushing Dixon up the straight. Still have hope of catching the top 3. And we're definitely going to catch one of them here. Whereas Flash Dagger comes out of turn 1, continues turning left on the straight, then goes straight into the wall. And so we're immediately now battling for 3rd place with the top 2 running clear, Costas and Dane Ramster. Ramster doing a really good job in the Jaguar F-Type, which seems to be another very viable option. I did not try it myself, but it absolutely is an option against the Aston Martin, which most are choosing, myself included. Looking for the inside here. Dixon's going to go defensive, but then the space opens up. Up the curb we go. And that is going to be 3rd place with just over a lap to go. Is it going to be possible to get on the back of the top 2? Only if they start fighting. It's a 2.5 second gap. Definitely not going to be able to catch that on pure pace. It's going to have to be as a result of defending from the leader. To the final corner we go, with Dixon there with his traditional dive bomb up the inside. He's not quite going to get the overtake done, and so he's going to remain on the outside. Now take a look at this as we head down into the hairpin contact between the top 2. That's Ramster going incredibly wide, with now Dixon again up the inside. Going to leave him just behind for the time being as we head through the long left hairpin. Definitely gaining now 1.3 the gap to the lead, and if they start battling even more, then there's absolutely a chance here. Costa's actually letting Ramster go back through into the lead as a result of the collision just a moment ago. As we drive a little bit wide there, as Dixon putting his nose up the inside on the exit, side by side once again. We've spent half this lap side by side, I think, and he doesn't really want to move left as we head into the other hairpin at the end of the Miyabi loop, which is often featured as a daily race A, just that little section of the track. Heading up the hill, final lap. What's going to happen here then? Is there going to be a late twist in the tail heading into the hairpin? A little bit deep, so we can get the car rotated and get a good exit. Heading down the hill, there is going to be one last twist. In fact, there's going to be 2, because as we head down here, it's going to be Costas with the mistake. Again, this corner, this kink, the kink of death, causing carnage as ever. And we go in quite hard to defend against Dixon, but we don't quite get the exit here. And this is a really unfortunate moment, as there's a drag race to the line between the 2 Aston Martins. It's not quite going to be enough. It is going to be a podium. A disappointing loss on the line, but 3rd place after all of that. Less than, well, about half a tenth between us at the finish. But now it is time for the BMW. We saw this car race pretty well in that last one. It didn't end well, but it definitely showed potential. I did a couple of practice laps which, to be honest, weren't very quick, so I was a bit worried going into this one that this car would not actually be that good. After working out a bit of the shifting, you'll notice that we're shifting this car incredibly early in the rev range, and that just seems to be how this car needs to be driven. So it's quite a strange realization once you get used to it, that you have to shift so early. But this car is absolutely a great option. In fact, Aura in the lead is in the BMW. We also have Costas in the race in the BMW as well, up against the armada of Aston Martins. Let's see what we can do about trying to put the Bavarian mark back on the map as we head down the hill, over the drop. It's like a roller coaster here, covering the inside line, protecting our position. Cars can go around the outside, that's fine. Being careful over this little bump there, which can absolutely unsettle the car. Trying to run around that around the outsides. We're going to gain the position actually out of that. Up into 8th. Moving in the right direction. Things are going well here. And I just want to talk quickly about the originality or lack thereof in daily races, because this is a really refreshing change. You know, this is a great race. It might not have turned out to be, but at least it's good that a track like this is being used. We have so many circuits in the game and so many configurations that are rarely used, or in fact are never used. And that's something I'm going to feature in a video very soon about the creativity or lack thereof in sport mode. And so I really am enjoying this new combination. For the first time ever, as I said earlier in the video, first time ever Group 4s have appeared in a daily race around this exact track. As you can probably tell here, really, really close battling. Again, I mean, that's, you know, I've said it 5,000 times in this video. But we're going to try and put together a good campaign here for the BMW. The third place in the previous race was a good finish. I was 16th at one point in that one. But getting up to third was great. Disappointing to get the position lost on the line though. Getting some front bumper damage here, that was my fault. Braking a little bit too late into the hairpin behind the Viper. Ancient Pleb goes in, end of lap 2. And I'm up into P6 as we cross the line to begin the third lap. As we head through turn 1, very long corner. Actually, I think the BMW really hooks up nicely mid-corner. When you get on the power, it doesn't really understeer very much. And that is very good on a track like this, which with lots of long corners. Its main weakness, I would say, is this part of the track up the hill, and oh my goodness, well, Viper into the wall. If you're not doing that, then you're doing well, I suppose. But yeah, the weakness primarily is, I think, top speed, and you do have to get the gear changes right. Anyway, heading down the hill, another example of over fighting, I think here. Dixon in second, covering off for second place on lap 4. This is just letting the leader get away, and it's simultaneously inviting myself and Nikolaitis into this fight. And so after 2 hairpins, the gap was over a second, but now we're all on each other and the fighting has got ever closer. End of lap 4 then. What is the strategy? We are going to go into the pit lane. I think we've learnt our lesson here. No, we haven't. I'm not going to do a tyre change. Now this is something I spoke about earlier. Do you have to do the tyre change? No. Should you do it? Probably. Can the BMW go without a tyre change? Well, maybe. The front right tyre is actually not worn anything like as much as what the Aston Martin does. And so the BMW, I think, can handle this a bit better. Now, there was a strategy I saw someone do yesterday, which was to pit at the end of lap 1, don't take the tyres, and then get out in clean air. And it actually worked really well. And therefore, I think I'm really excited to maybe do this race a few more times, perhaps produce another video and highlight the differing strategies that are available. We've done a few of them here, but I don't think I've done the best one. So up into third on lap 5 here, just trying to pull away from this pack. Now, I do think I have the worst tyres out of this whole group. Everyone has pretty much changed their tyres. I didn't. And therefore, we're on the back foot to some extent. Especially when someone tries to, well, I don't even know what was going on there. I think this guy was kind of inadvertently pit manoeuvring me. And so, we almost got spun out. Managing to keep control of the car with the skin of my teeth. Dropping down a couple of positions here, back to 5th. And you know what, I must say, by this point in the race I thought, you know what, I've made a mistake again by not making the tyre change. I'm going to lose another position here to Spanish player. And I thought, you know what, it's all going down the drain. I've made the same mistake. But from here, from P6, actually the car kind of just hunkered down and just really didn't do such a bad job. Let's not forget as well that the Aston Martins are also wearing out their tyres, and by this point their tyres probably aren't actually much worse, even if they pitted and got new ones halfway through the race. So this is the final lap. So close between us. I mean, I don't know how many times I've said that in this video. Really close racing throughout. Really fun. It's incredibly fun, especially when everyone else makes mistakes like this and you jump up a couple of positions for free. Treviso behind, looking up the inside. Is he going to make that work? We're able to hold it around the outside on the final lap without changing tyres. I've kept a position against the Aston Martin. As we head down the hill for the last time, dive bomb of the century is going to come in here from Treviso. He goes flying through. We perform the old switcheroo, go back into fourth. It's all kicking off here on this final lap. We've got 2 in front. We've got 3. I was about to say 3. We've actually got 4 immediately behind here. And then into the final sector of the race and of the lap. Is there going to be a twist in the tail? Yes, there is. Because Dixon takes far too wide of a line through the corner. We're going to look up the inside. He's going to afford the space. Going to go up the inside and take 3rd place on the final corner. It's going to be enough. And amazingly enough, that is going to be a 1-2-3 for BMW. BMW 1-2-3! Get in there, Lewis! And there it is. The Bavarian boys and girls back at the factory will be incredibly proud of this performance. And this was a great race. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.